Oblivion Wrestling fans, Jordan Castle here on the call as the Emperor, Bryce Saturn, is set to do battle with the masterpiece, Chris Masters. And here, a bipartisan crowd here tonight. Some want to see Masters show the proverbial masterpiece, others in favor of Bryce Saturn. He lends the hand a show of respect here in the early going. Bell sounds, we are underway with what could arguably be referred to as the biggest match of Bryce Saturn's career. Saturn, of course, in his early 20s. Pro of 3 years. And someone who has been alive as long as Chris Masters has been actively competing. And now, after the show of strength, the shirt comes off. He's still got it. Fans, he's never lost it. That speaks to the physique of Chris Masters, that he can receive a reception like that, a chant like that, for simply removing his top. I have to thank the fans who were not in favor of it moments ago, certainly biting their words now. Make the Emperor pray here tonight. Bryce Saturn not to be outdone again. Certainly does not have the experience advantage against Chris Masters, but he's young, he's hungry. Especially here in Oblivion Wrestling, he's made a point that he wants to be a flag bearer for this organization. If and when an Oblivion Wrestling Championship is created, Bryce Saturn wants to be the guy to hold that Oblivion Wrestling Championship. And you have to think a win over a nationally renowned television superstar like Chris Masters would go a very long way in making that happen. Masters not going to give it to him easy. Headlock cinched in. Masters has to rely on that power. What he lacks speed and youth against Bryce Saturn, he more than makes up for in power. Case in point, taking him off his feet once again. It's like they could hear me. You have to wonder who this match behooves psychologically. Of course, for Bryce Saturn, one of, if not the biggest opportunities of his career against a guy he no doubt watched growing up on television. His time as a wrestling fan. Masters, though, can't afford to rest on his laurels, does not want to be unseated by a young gun. It is a young man's game. It is a what have you done for me lately kind of business. And right now, Bryce Saturn with a little gun show of his own, saying, masterpiece, turnabout is fair play here. You have to wonder if there are any nerves or butterflies for Saturn, given the magnitude of an opportunity against a star like Chris Masters. And if there are, he's certainly not letting us see it here. A hell of a poker face from Saturn in the early going. Go behind. Pushes Masters into the corner. Arm drag. And Saturn, again, the picture of confidence, but Masters may have been pissed off here. Shoots Saturn off against the ropes, and this time it's Saturn going for the shoulder block, though a decidedly different result against Masters. He says, go ahead, give me one more, show me what you got, kid. Even Masters seemingly can't help but be a little impressed with the moxie of this young gun, the Emperor, Bryce Saturn. Arm drag again. Saturn says, I'm not going to play your game, Chris Masters. I'm going to wrestle my type of match. Firing away, repeated shots in the corner, but just shoved off, swatted away like a fly by Chris Masters. Saturn stays on top of him, takes him down to the canvas. The basement drop kick. Lateral press. A kick out from Masters again. Easy 50-pound weight advantage from the masterpiece. Gives him such an edge when kicking out. Going to be so hard for Saturn to keep the shoulders down for 3 seconds. Had something in mind, but Masters saw it coming. And a backbreaker there, drilling the spine of Saturn. The knee of the masterpiece. Saturn maybe now realizing he's bitten off a little more than he could chew. He's got a good reason to be confident. Oh, man, follow-away slam there from Masters. Not just here in Oblivion Wrestling, but in his native Arizona, a product of Charles Cassius. He's proven himself more than a top prospect. Cover from Masters and a kick out from Saturn, but again, a former WWE superstar, a man who in recent years has been seen in TNA Wrestling, in the National Wrestling Alliance. Chris Masters is another beast entirely, and Saturn learning that the hard way here. You see Masters repeatedly using the knee as a weapon, first with the backbreaker, now here. Fans at home, massage that knee, lightly feel your knee. That is one of the hardest bones in the body, and a man like Chris Masters, nearly 300 pounds of pure muscle, is repeatedly digging it into the back of Bryce Saturn, now dropping with a clothesline here. Not even going for the cover, repeated shots, one after the other. Again, plain and simple, fans, that the masterpiece is pissed.
Give him the rings of Saturn!
Got him up in a bear hug here, targeting that back, the same one he's drilled the knee into time and time again. Masterpiece Chris Masters has a game plan. It's working to perfection thus far. Saturn, elbow strikes to the neck, manages to escape the clutches, if only for the moment. Masters right on top of him. Saturn, despite escaping, unable to follow through here. He cares so much about making his name here in Oblivion Wrestling. Clearly has the people on his side, but will it be enough to escape this fury from a very game masterpiece, Chris Masters? You have to wonder if in many ways Masters sees a lot of a young masterpiece in Bryce Saturn. They started wrestling around the same time, both in impeccable physical conditioning, both with deserved confidence. Maybe trying to teach the young gun some tough love here. Off the ropes, but Saturn ducks into a springboard lariat. And that may have been just the opening Bryce Saturn needs to mount a comeback here. Trying to will his way back up to a vertical base. So much damage already done. Both men trying to shake those cobwebs. Back up to their feet. Big flying forearm. And another. Saturn's asking for it here. This time it's Saturn using his knee to great effect. To another gorgeous drop kick and kipping up. Saturn with Washington on his side into a neck breaker. Hooks the leg. No, but it's not enough. Credit to Bryce Saturn. We talk about the inexperience, especially in comparison to the masterpiece Chris Masters. You wouldn't know it with this. Disappointed for 1 second and now right on top of Masters. Keeping the fight going, pushing the momentum up to the top rope. No telescope necessary, but Masters had it scouted into a spine buster. Cover. No! This time it's Masters with a look of disappointment, dare I say with a look of shock that he wasn't able to put away the young Saturn here. Uh-oh, Masters is calling for it. He made a career out of this. He's looking to cinch in that signature master lock. Will Bryce Saturn escape the challenge? Well, we're never gonna find out. Saw it coming. Again, those years and years of watching Masters on television paid off, and now targeting the arm. Gonna be so difficult for Masters to lock in the master lock if that bicep is neutralized. Fireman's carry here, but Masters escaped again. Looking to cinch it in. Saturn fighting tooth and nail to escape this hold here. He knows the match is all but over, and it may be here. No, goes under, shoulders down. Saturn steals it. And with that, Bryce Saturn picking up arguably the biggest win of his career here in Oblivion Wrestling. As the old adage goes, all it takes is 3 seconds. And the masterpiece can argue with the official all he wants. Bryce Saturn victorious over a former WWE superstar here tonight. Real, recognize real here tonight. A seal of approval from Masters to Saturn. And I believe we're gonna try and get a word with the victorious Emperor right now.
Congratulations on that huge victory. Can you tell us what's next for you here at Oblivion Pro Wrestling?
Well, first, I just want to say that was the biggest moment of my career thus far. That right there, the key phrase, thus far. That was only the beginning. You're going to see Bryce Saturn more and more. And every time you see me in this ring, I'm going to deliver. So with that being said, whoever I face next, they better be ready. Because they will bow down!
Strong words from a victorious Bryce Saturn. What a moment here in Lacey.